Alright, last step. Time to put the sawmill band together, the bandsaw together, and get it mounted on the trailer. Pulling out the trailer. This trailer's out. Pulled it out with the forks. Got her hitched up. Lights are all working. Very, very cool. Still gotta put the safety chain on, but I'm just straightening it out here. Not going on the road yet. We're working on the sawmill head assembly. We're gonna put the front posts into the sawmill head, and they have to come in from the top with the red cap here going in first in these top holes sideways. So that's what we're gonna do, one on each side. All right, we've got the support arms in the bandsaw head assembly. Now we need to put the carriage legs, these black triangle things on here, using the M1280 bolts with lock nuts and washers. So it looks like 2 each on those. Woohoo! We've got the carriage legs on page 39 done. So we've got 2 bolts here on each side with the nuts on the outside, so the bolt heads are on the inside. These are just kind of loose, not fully snug for right now, and then you're instructed to push this all the way up till it hits the bolt. And now, since I've got the trailer, I am on page 40 and doing the head lockdown plate. So you're supposed to undo these bolts here, take out this spacer, and then 2 of these go on each one with the long leg facing this way. So it's an L shape, so it goes there and there. All right, we've got the head lockdown bottom plates installed. They're loose. You have to make sure that the nut right here is out of the way, so when I stand this up, these don't get stuck. And now we are ready to stand this thing up. So, gonna lay some cardboard down. I'll stand her up. Got a saw head. Standing up. To this bolt hole right here. Put those in. We are putting the cross beam on top of the carriage legs. All right, I've got the 6 90mm bolts loosely set in. Now I've got to do the 2 110 bolts with the pulleys and get those set. And I think these are our pulleys. They look like, I hope. pulleys and 2 spacers. Still have 3 others. Okay, this goes in the bottom. Goes in the bottom hole of the top leg. Alright, so this is the log scale mounting bracket. It goes through here like that. And then I've got this 35mm bolt that's going to go through here, and it's not going to block anything, so it just comes right out here. No problem. All right, time to mount the lubrication tank onto these front brackets using these M8x16 hex bolts, which are they came shipped, already attaching it there. Just got to unloosen those and then put those in and install this up. Next up is installing our dashboard and hour meter on page 46 of the manual. So we're going to put 5 of these bolts in at the 80mm. So we've got 5 of those. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here, and we're going to put a 100mm with a pulley here, and then leave these 2 blank, and then the hour meter right there. Alright, we just did the dashboard and hour meter. Everything's bolted in place, but all the directions say do it loosely. So it's just tightened down to the lock nuts so they get tight. Got the hour meter set in place. Everything's good. Starting to look like a sawmill. So now we're going to do the lift mechanism, and then we've got the cables. But we're going to work on this, which is page 48 and 49. Alright, so we're going to do the lift assembly. Gets mounted to the underside of here. I was looking all over for this 25mm hex nut, only to find it actually came from the factory attached there. Got the lift mechanism in place. That says everything, do not fully tighten any of the bolts. So everything I'm putting in so far on the saw head has been loosely bolted in place. So we've got the lift assembly, the 2 pulleys in place. Now we're doing the lift cable routing. It's got a steel cable on the right and a steel cable on the left. So the right hand side comes up, goes over that pulley, goes through the lower pulley, back around, and then the shorter bracket. There's 2 places right here. Goes up around, down around the upper pulleys, and then into this bracket. So now we're on the log scale, putting that on, and a few other things. So we're on page 52. Gonna bolt the log scale on. I've got all the bolts, and we're gonna bolt it on. All right, I got the log scale mounted. Now I gotta do the indicator arrow. Put that on. We've got the log scale gauge set here. It comes with 2, they're magnetic strips. You can put 1 on the back side, but I just have them. I guess I shouldn't double those up, it'll make it thicker. So, there we go. Now then, we are ready for the push handle and then the throttle. Cruising along, page 57, doing the throttle handle cable. We got the push bar installed, and that can be adjusted for ergonomics later on. I've got this routed from the engine in between the gauge and the rail, and It's got 2 bolts already in here, but those need to be undone so that I can bolt it onto the push rail. All right, we got the throttle assembly. These 2 bolts were on there. That was a pain because it's bolt, washer, 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 bolt. And this big sandwich assembly, quite the pain. So now I have to adjust the screw to tighten the cable. Although the weather is starting to maybe turn on me, I think I'm gonna do that later. Tighten the 4 M20. Good Lord, those are gonna be huge. 20 by 120 bolts. Carriage wheels on each side. Got 4 of them. Wheels are tightened. So that means it should be ready to lift up. Yep, put the head on the track. Whoop whoop. I think I've made an error. I think the pulley is supposed to go on the inside. Let's check. Because otherwise this thing doesn't look like it wants to fit. This is supposed to be here and that's supposed to be there. Ah! This is no fun. Okay, let's think about this. Where have we got Tighten bolts? Everything's actually nothing's hand tight. So, all right, that one's tight. All right, that one's tight. Ah, and these are tight. This kind of sucks. Went to put it on, realized I had these brackets on backwards. The left one was on the right and the right one was on the left. So I've taken them off. And now, let's hope I can get them back on. Oh, fun stuff. Hey, that could have been a lot worse. That only took me 10-15 minutes. I'm gonna raise it up and do this other side. Whew. It's always something. Oh, gotta tell you what, man. It would have been too smooth if this hadn't happened, because so far this is my only mess. Ow! That blade's sharp. Whew, look at that. First blood. Super nice. Nice, nice, nice. Woohoo! Check that out. Genuinely, I don't know that I've ever been so excited to put something together. It went so well. I still have some things to do, some stuff to tighten up on the saw head and throttle adjustment and commission the engine, all that stuff. But I am super excited. So stay tuned, because soon enough, gonna be doing our first pieces of lumber on this, cutting some timbers, either for my creekside pavilion or the sawmill shed. I can't decide, because right now I can put the sawmill in the barn and move it around, but I have to decide if I'm going to do a sawmill shed or just do a full-on new barn further back on the pasture. I'll give a tour of the property at some point, but up over the hill I'm going to build a house and a new barn, and then way down in the creek, next to the creek, clearing a spot to build a timber frame pavilion and fire pit, even though we've already got one up on the top of the hill there, but it'd be fun to get back in the woods. So super excited. Thanks, Woodland Mills. Hope y'all enjoyed. Stay tuned for cutting next.